Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bridgette Love with you today. And today we have the incomparable Master 11 Numerologist, Miss Ann Perry. And I'm so excited to have you back on my channel. Thank you so much for coming back with us and sharing some more information.
Oh, thanks, Bridgette. It's always great being here.
Of course, and it's a marvelous opportunity to now talk about, this year, which is the Master 11 Universal Year. We're talking a lot about how we're seeing some patterns. So we wanted to share this with you guys, some insights, some tips and tricks on how to deal with this particular Universal Year of the 11. So, one of the things I have truly felt with this number, and is truly like the Universal Year, is like how it's been such an illuminating year for many people in regards to personal truths, and also understanding also how to break certain breaking through certain things in life as well. So one question I do have for you is, what makes the Master 11 Universal Year in your perspective so intense?
Well, 2018, when we add 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8, it comes up to 11. This is not a 2 personal year. This is our universal year. This is an 11 universal year. So this brings in a much finer, much higher vibration than we've experienced for a while. I think 2009 was the last time we were there. So the thing with the universal year is that it's like an umbrella, and the umbrella is something that covers all of us, regardless of where you are on your own journey. If you happen to be in a 3 personal year, you're still being affected by the energy of the 11 universal year. So the 11 is all related to illumination and seeing things much differently, seeing things much more clearly, particularly as it pertains to relationships, right? Because the 11 is all about the 2, which is all about partnership and cooperation. So we're seeing people that we know in a different light. We're seeing people that are on TV, celebrities on TV, that sort of thing. We're seeing them in a different light. I think we're going to see an awful lot of exposure this year.
Yes.
Right?
And I do think this has a lot to stem also with, how we're seeing this happen in Hollywood as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
It actually happened since last year, but I feel like now it's just becoming much more intensified. And it's all about just understanding just this awareness, which I feel people want to get to this certain awareness. This is something that you feel is something that's strong during this year.
Yeah, I think so. And I do believe that there's a shoulder season to each universal year, right? So we would have started feeling this vulnerability, if you will. All of us, regardless, again, where we are in our personal cycle, all of us would be starting to feel the sensitivity attached to this 11 vibration. And it started coming in about end of September, 1st of October last year, about 3 months before the turn of the year. So we're going to feel it right up until probably, I'm going to say, about October of this year, 2018. So again, it brings in, double awareness. So the things that have been hidden from us previously are now going to be in clear view.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, this is a number where not only is self-awareness being heightened, but it's sort of like it plays like a flashlight, right? Which is now you're actually aware of your tools, your resources, what you actually have, what you don't have. And it's also because the 11 is all about understanding the truths, right? Which is the truth. So I think also this is where people are understanding their personal truths, and at the same time it's pushing them towards that path of individuality, because sometimes when we detach from certain things, such as what the 11 has to learn at times, to detach from ideas and concepts that are outside of them. Yeah, this is something that can be experienced during this year. So, what has been some of your experiences during this universal year, the 11? Like, what are some of the things you can share with us?
Well, overall sensitivity. I can cry at the drop of a hat. I really can. I find that I'm more sensitive to listening to music, watching movies. Oh my God, anything relating to, torture towards animals and people. Oh, I have a really hard time doing it. I'm finding that my intuition is bang on. Like, it's really, really good this year. I feel more so than what it's been in a long time, if ever. But I'm also finding that I'm seeing myself in a different light. Even to the way that my business is growing and the direction that I'm taking it in, and the collaboration that you and I are doing is all part of this 11, right?
Right.
Because the 11 is the two. It's the partnership. It's the collaborations. It's the cooperation. It's sharing information. It's building partnerships, that sort of thing. And this is all new to me. I mean, I only just came up with this idea late last year, but I never really acted on it until early this year, right?
Right.
So, but one of the things, in answer to your question, one of the personal experiences I had was back in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been telling all my clients during the readings, you know, be prepared to see other people around you in a different light. Be prepared to see the celebrities. Be prepared to see your neighbors in a different light. Just see them a little differently.
Yes.
What I wasn't prepared for, nor had I told other people, was that we're going to see ourselves in a different light too, because if we can't escape the spotlight, right?
Right. And I think that's one thing I have dealt with a lot this year as well, is like, you know, the sense of vulnerability that, you know, I look at myself sometimes and I'm like, you know, honestly, doing this kind of work like YouTube, it kind of makes you sick of yourself. Because like for me, then, because first of all, you're taking pictures of yourself and then you're putting yourself out there. There's like all these millions and thumbnails that you're on. And I'm like, ugh, like it just makes me like so grossed out. I'm like, ugh. But I think it's because that 11 universal year, it kind of, it's kind of like a flashlight. It flashes like the double spotlight on you. So it's kind of like now you're kind of seeing yourself in a way where like you've never really seen yourself. So I feel like that's one thing I have, and I agree with you in that aspect, where it has been a very vulnerable year for me to understand like, you know, what are my flaws? Like I'm very, like I've always expressed to you, you know, I've always been very self-conscious about the way I speak. And I feel like that's one thing I'm really seeing in my videos too. Like, it's just all that 11 energy. It can be pretty, like it can even bring anxiety, you know? Like, do you think this is a year where you can experience anxiety?
Absolutely. It's a high tension vibration. This is, we just came out of a one universal year. Okay. Last year was one universal year, 2017. So that was encouraging all of us, regardless where we were in our cycle, go, 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 right? We're all punching our way through. We're taking advantage of this value added bonus that we got with the one energy. And all of a sudden January 1st hit and it was like, boom, you hit the brick wall. It's like, oh my God, I'm like freaking tired, man.
Yes.
And I want to keep punching through that year, and you can't. You just can't do it because you have to rest.
Right.
In a universal year of 2, and it's, you know, the 11 is all about balance, right? It's all about establishing balance between the masculine and the feminine, the double ones and the 2. So it's trying to strike a balance in there. If you're in a one personal year, you naturally feel the need to go, 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 and yet the universal year is saying, whoa, you know, just slow down a little bit. So that can cause anxiety, right?
Right.
It's double magnification. It's double sensitivity. It's double awareness. It's double intuition. If you've always been a little bit suspicious or a little paranoid about your partner, you want to know that's going to be emphasized this year for sure. But you know what? The other thing it does, when we call this the year of illumination, like we're talking about all the things that we can feel that might not feel so good, but guess what? When we come out from underneath the covers, we can see what's maybe not right in our worlds, and we can fix it. It gives us an opportunity. This is a wonderful opportunity. Once in 9 years that we get this chance to see this roll out. And that's lots of changes, right?
Right. And I think what you're saying is like, you know, because now you're saying it's a double illumination. And I think this is a year of healing as well, right? Because the 11 is a year of healing. Well, the 11 energy is a healing energy, but it's also because there has to be a sense of self-awareness that is so penetrating during this year that it's like a new kind of insight that you're now gaining. And I think, honestly, I could connect this now with the astrological transits that are happening now, which is, you know, Saturn is now entering this constellation nakshatra, which is Mula. So Saturn is going to be like showing you what is the true core, what are your roots, what are the things that truly define who you are, because Mula is all about the roots. And then Saturn there is going to teach people lessons in regards to that. So this is why also I do believe this is the year where, because Mula, you know, wherever people have this constellation in their chart, you know, this is where I believe most mystics have this. They have this a strong connection with this nakshatra. And I remember you have this nakshatra. I forgot to tell you this. You
she called me a mystic.
Yeah, you have it. You have it in your, yeah, you have it in your 11th house. I remember. And so this is why you're able to actually connect. The 11th house is all about through, you know, connecting with everyone and understanding these deep aspects. So it's like, this is why I believe this is also the year where people are going to really get into the truth of even like spiritual practices, where people are going to be penetrating new ideas, new abstract concepts, which is what I wanted to connect with in regards to the 11 universal years. So it's kind of like intertwined there.
But don't you find that people too are going to really figure out what their purpose is this year?
Yes, I believe that.
Because I know there's a lot of things that I offer, a lot of things that I teach, a lot of things that I do that are kind of like, nope, not happening this year.
Yeah.
It might come back, but it's not happening this year. I'm so focused on what I'm doing with my numerology.
Yes.
That
exactly.
No room for anything else.
Right. And that's why I also said on my channel, I'm like, I'm not doing no more tarot readings, because I want to, it's all about being honest with yourself as well, which
Absolutely.
is what you can accept and what you don't have to accept anymore. And it's just a year of personal growth, and just facing it head on with fearlessness.
Right.
That's one thing I think I felt in regards to this universal year. So what are some of the patterns you see when it comes to like, the surroundings? Like, what is something that you see in regards to this universal year? Like,
well, for starters, I'm seeing sensitivity with the animals. Unreal. My dog, I think there was with solar flares going on a couple of weeks ago. She was absolutely out of her mind. She was panting, she was pacing, she was fretting, she was so upset. And she's never experienced this before. I know that she's really, really tuning into the vibration of the 11, no question. The horses that I work with, the same thing. They're just all psycho right now. It's crazy. So the animals are definitely being affected by it. The weather patterns, no question. Wind. I know you're experiencing it, right? And I mean, you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, but we're experiencing unbelievable, undeniable, extreme winds. Christmas Day, we had a hurricane, on the East Coast. So, Mother Nature's a little bit pissed, right? And so wind, of course, is clearing and clearing out old dead debris and old energy patterns and stuff. It's just a whole cycle. I think too in the news we're seeing all kinds of exposure. Donald Trump has
everywhere
this year, and I keep defending him. And it's not about whether I think he's a good guy or he's not a good guy or a good candidate or whatever. It's not about that. It's just the fact that because he's such a public figure, he's going to be on a pedestal this year in terms of his integrity, and people will see him in a different light this year. And some of the light might not be good, and some of it might be very good. Yes. So it'll be interesting to see. Personally, myself, I know that in January, I crashed and burned for a little while, for about 10 days. One of these crazy electrical storms, and that's the other thing, people are really responding to the electricity, all these power outages, right? Every time that comes on, goes off, comes on, goes off, like energetically, I'm a mess, and it takes me a while to recover from it. Never had that before.
And I think,
sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just found that in January, I mean, it's our busiest time of year. Everybody wants their reading before the year really gets rocking and rolling. And I had so many people I had to reschedule. And so I rescheduled them all and trying to accommodate them quickly. I put them into a short time span, and I completely fried and burned out, right? And so I beat myself up terribly and turned the spotlight, that universal spotlight that's on all of us, illuminating everything around us, also illuminates ourselves. So any little flaw or any little weakness, any feelings of self-doubt is definitely exaggerated under the influence of the 11 universal year.
Right. And I think one of the experiences, like, to kind of, say what you're saying is like, honestly, it's been vivid dreams.
Sleep patterns.
Yeah, sleep habits are like so like different this year.
Yeah.
Like I think, because I do consider 11 energy to be like that super creative innovator. So I do believe, like most people that have a lot of artistic abilities, they tend to thrive more during the nighttime. So like even nocturnal, clocks can be a little different this year, which I'm experiencing myself, to be honest. Like I tend to be more active during the nighttime as opposed to I'm like such an owl, but it's just because, like, I don't know, I guess like it just has to do with the 11 energy, I guess, because more electrifying ideas come to me at night, so that's.
And it brings in, the 2, which is that of the 11, right? The other side of the 11 is all about patience, right? Be patient with yourself. We have to remember that just because we're going through a funky time, just because we're feeling anxious, just because we're feeling impatient, whatever it is we're feeling, you can't just say, well, would you mind just like turning the world off just for a minute? Just like, let's stop revolving just for a second because I'm having a bad day here, right? No, it's not going to do that. The world is going to keep spinning, right? The earth keeps spinning. And every day we get closer to getting out of this energy. So if you're struggling with it, if you're having a hard time with it, you got to know this is very temporary.
Right.
But it is about illumination, and it's the courage to look and to see and to examine what's actually unfolding before you. I think we're going to see in the entertainment industry, I think we're going to see a lot of new discovered talent.
I think so too. And I think, and that's also more unconventional talent, you know,
yeah.
Like different, as opposed to what we always have this idea of like celebrities or certain singers. Like, I think it's going to be a much more like diverse, you know, sense of talent. So
the downer, there's only the Debbie Downer side to everything, right? But
yeah,
it's positive and negative, and I try to stay on the positive. But in all fairness to both sides here, in the news, whatever anybody's passionate about, they're going to feel it more. Okay, so if you've got somebody who's really passionate about doing some heinous crime, there's a good chance it may happen this year. So am I saying, you know, be aware? No, I'm just saying, you know, that the energy is going to propel a person who's very passionate about whatever their belief is, whether it's a negative belief or a positive belief, they're going to act on it more likely in this energy than in another. Would you agree with that?
I do think, yeah, because the 11 energy is about self-identifying yourself with something, and that becomes self-indulgent, you know. So I think, yeah, people tend to do more of what they love during this year because they're realizing just things about themselves that they never truly understood the past 9 years or the past 10 years. Or there's like a new, like, kind of like a rebirth in a way, you know, a rebirth of like yourself. And, you know, do you feel like this is a year, like, I feel like this is a year where people just experience a lot of anxiety? Like, is it something that,
question.
Yeah, like they tend to overthink, or even like they throw things out of proportion. Like, this is how, you know, they tend to, I don't know. It's like a way of projecting this energy. It's very out of proportion. Is this something that,
do you think it's because of the double one energy is that double aggressiveness?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is an energy that not everybody can deal well with. You know, this is an unusual energy that, again, it vibrates really, really fast and really, you know, really hard. So not everybody can cope with it, especially those people who are already 11s, right? They're already dealing with their share of anxiety and feeling like they're not accomplishing much and time's running out and all the things that 11s feel. It's magnified this year, right? But we need to keep sight on the fact that every personal year, every universal year is just a cycle. And if you're finding it really challenging, hang on, because it's going to change, right? And the closer we get to the change of the year, to the ending of the year, the easier it gets, the less intense it becomes, right?
And so, go ahead.
No, that's right.
Oh, so, you know, like, what are some of the things, like, you know, I know a lot of people are going through changes in life. I've never seen, first of all, like in the beginning of January, I felt like everyone was just letting go of even long-term relationships, long-term things that they've been a part of for so long. So this is a very difficult year. I feel like emotionally, it's a very intense, you know, it's a very intense emotional year. So what are some of the things that people can do to alleviate this intensity?
Well, you know, again, it's all about exposure, right? So it's like you might have been trying to tough out a relationship for a long time, and then all of a sudden you flip into this universal year where somebody flicks on the light and it's like, poof, the whole world, the whole planet has just been illuminated. And now you're seeing your partner in a different way. I personally feel that the illumination is necessary, right? If there's a problem, we need to see it, right? How long do you want to stay under that blanket? But I would also say, be very careful that you don't make any rash decisions. The energy of the two says, hold off, let's just sit, let's just ponder, let's just look at last year and let's just take care of things that we started last year and nurture them along. But this is not an action year. This is a year to pause. The universe causes us to get thrown forward one year with lots of energy and asks us to sit back and wait in the opposing year, right? Only to be, you're rested, you're restored, bam, we're going to go forward again. So 1 is forward, 2 is back, 3 is forward, right? So I think just taking one step at a time, being patient, trying to leave the doors to communication open is really important. Trying not to get too emotional about things. Ask yourself, you know, why do I feel this way? What the 11 can bring out a lot of drama, right? It can bring out a lot of drama. So I guess you need to ask yourself, how am I benefiting by creating all this drama? Right? What's in it for me? Why do I feel the need to do this? What am I losing? What emotional need is in me that isn't being met that says I have to create all this drama?
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say, step back from it. The other thing is that if you're sort of exploring your spirituality, this is a great year to do it. It's a better year than any to be able to tap into your guides, get to know who your spirit guides are. Who are you as a spiritual person? The
And
veil
also,
between you and the other side is quite thin this year.
right. And I think also using that double one energy, taking advantage of that too,
Yeah.
which is like starting up, well, like you said, it's a pause year, but also it's about like, it comes from within and then it's outward. So it's like pausing and saying, okay, like, who am I truly, it's like, who am I truly this new cycle in my life,
And what can I create right now?
yes, which is like all the like another thing I have to say, okay, this is a year I feel like people need to write down their ideas and their thoughts, because this is where everything's being elevated now, so it's like just it's actually interesting when you look back and into those journal entries or like the things you've written, like, wow, I didn't how did I have that innovation, like how did I have that idea this particular year? So I recommend that,
I think that's a great suggestion. I know I think journaling is one of the best things anybody can do for themselves, because if you're going through a funky place, that tends to be when I journal, is when I'm going through a rough go. I found some of my journals here that I wrote a few years back, and I just rediscovered them a little while ago. And when I read back, I thought, holy crap, I hardly recognize that woman, from a few years back. Right? She's evolved so much, but I was glad that I had that reference point to be able to say, oh yeah, I was in a crap hole back then, right? But I crawled out, right? And I'm doing great now. So I would encourage people. I think that's a great suggestion.
Well, thank you for your suggestions, Anne. And has been such an enlightening discussion, because I'm sure many of us are curious, what is it that we have to understand during this universal year? So how can my viewers find you, Anne?
Pretty simple. I'm AnnePerryNumerologist.com. I've got a Facebook page that I'm really active on. You can follow me there. I have obviously my YouTube channel as well, so check me out there as well.
All right. And please, guys, go ahead and check her out, her YouTube channel. She has a lot of great content, especially for Master Number 11s and many other numbers. So thank you guys for always coming back into my channel. This was Bridgette Love with you today. And thank you again, Anne, for coming back and, sharing some more of your knowledge and your insights. So I'll see you guys.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you guys soon in my next series of videos. Thank you so much. This was Bridgette Love with you today. And I love you, Anne. Thank you.
Take care, Anne. Bye for now.
Bye.